Welcome to Sawtooth Guitar Tips with Angelo Batio. Normally known as a blues guitarist, but when I started off playing guitar, I'm from Chicago. Chicago is kind of home of the blues, and I was very much inspired by guitarists like Johnny Winter, Mike Bloomfield, the list, B.B. King, Albert King, the list goes on, and even people like Gary Moore. And what I did was, one of the ways that you can play blues and you can solo is a blues progression is typically called a 1-4-5. So you're in the key of A. Now I'm in concert pitch, so meaning A440. So you have your first chord A, second chord D, third chord E. Now people ask me, well, what do you do when the chord changes? Where do you go? One of the things that works with blues is that theoretically you can be incorrect and still make it work. And what I mean by that is, even if you play an A7 chord, you can still, that's with a C sharp, you can still play C. So one of the things that I used to talk about when I taught guitar, I used to have a game that I played. I had several of them. One was called the Jam Game, and in that Jam Game, what I would do is I would tell my students, okay, you're an A, so play. Now you change to the D chord, so you change to a D note. When you hear that chord go to D, you hit the root note of that chord. And a perfect example of this is the song Stairway to Heaven. What does Jimmy Page do? He goes, when he hits that note, he ends the phrase on F. The chord is F. So it's a perfect example of how to use chords and just hit the root note of that chord to make your solo sound interesting. When you play Stairway to Heaven, you have to play that solo. It's signature to the song. When you're playing something like a blues, and it moves up to the D chord, just go. Then it moves to E. And so you can almost hear it change. So you can actually hear the chords by hearing the notes that I play, because I outline each time I change chords with the root note of that chord. So A, D, E, D. Now also, one of the things that I recommend when you learn how to play any style of music, steal. Now I don't mean just to grab something like take a guitar, out of a store or something. What I mean is take riffs from other people. I used to take a lot of riffs. For example, Jimmy Page, we're like, or Johnny Winter, or Joe Walsh. So I used to take riffs from other people and apply them to my own playing, and all of a sudden you start to sound like this totally pro person. But again, when you do this, you have to think of phrasing too. You don't need just to play these long extended, You don't have to do that. You can break it up. So, if you want to learn how to play blues quickly, start with the blues scale. When it changes chords, go and play the note of the next chord when you start your solo. When it goes to D, hit a D right away. When it goes to E, hit an E right away. And when you do that, all of a sudden, your phrasing and everything starts to come together and you sound like a pro.